You close your eyes. The room is dark. The house is quiet. And then, your brain decides it's the perfect time to replay every embarrassing moment from 2014, remind you of that email you forgot to send, and catastrophize about a conversation that hasn't even happened yet. Sound familiar? You're not broken. You're not weird. You're just someone who hasn't learned how to turn off the mental noise. Yet. And by the end of this video, that's exactly what we're going to fix. Welcome. If you've ever found yourself lying in bed completely exhausted but somehow unable to sleep because your mind just won't shut up, this video is made for you. Today we're going deep on one of the most overlooked health crises of our generation, the dangerous connection between stress, overthinking, and sleep deprivation. And more importantly, we're going to talk about what you can actually do to break the cycle tonight. Let's start with the science, because once you understand what's happening inside your body, everything starts to make sense. When you're stressed, your brain triggers the release of a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's built-in alarm system. It sharpens your focus, raises your heart rate, and prepares you to fight or run. It's brilliant when you're in actual danger. But here's the problem. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a lion chasing you and a passive-aggressive text from your boss. It treats both as life-threatening emergencies. So at 11 p.m. when you're trying to sleep, your body is still in full survival mode, cortisol pumping, heart slightly racing, mind scanning for threats that don't exist. And this is where overthinking begins. Overthinking at night isn't a personality flaw. It's your nervous system trying to protect you. Your brain believes that if it thinks hard enough about a problem, it can solve it and keep you safe. The tragedy is, most of what we overthink about at night cannot be solved by more thinking. It can only be solved by rest, clarity, and action taken during daylight hours. But your stressed brain doesn't know that, so it keeps spinning. Now here's where it gets really serious. Sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired. It restructures how your brain works. Studies show that after just one night of poor sleep, the amygdala, the emotional processing center of your brain, becomes 60% more reactive. That means you're more anxious, more irritable, and more likely to perceive neutral situations as threatening the next day, which means more stress, which means more cortisol, which means another night of lying awake overthinking. This is the cycle. Stress breaks your sleep, broken sleep amplifies your stress, and around you go, getting worse each time. The average person who struggles with nighttime overthinking has been living in this cycle for months, sometimes years, without realizing there's a biological reason it feels impossible to escape. You're not weak. You're stuck in a loop that your brain is actively maintaining because it thinks it's helping. So how do we break it? The first thing you need to understand is that you cannot think your way out of overthinking. Trying to stop anxious thoughts by analyzing them more just adds fuel to the fire. What you need to do instead is change the physical state your body is in. Because here's the truth. Your thoughts are downstream of your nervous system. Calm the body, and the mind will follow. One of the most powerful tools for this is called physiological sighing. It sounds too simple to be real, but this technique was studied at Stanford and found to be the fastest way to reduce stress in real time. Here's how you do it. Take a deep breath in through your nose, then before you exhale, take one more short sniff to fully expand your lungs, then release it all slowly through your mouth. Do this twice. What happens is your lungs absorb the excess carbon dioxide that builds up when you're anxious, and your heart rate drops almost immediately. Your nervous system reads this as a signal that the threat is over. Do this 3 or 4 times as you get into bed and watch how quickly your body begins to downshift. The second tool is the worry dump. Most people try to avoid their anxious thoughts at bedtime, which only makes them louder. Instead, about an hour before you sleep, take a piece of paper and write down every single thing that's on your mind. Not to solve it, not to analyze it, just to get it out of your head and onto paper. When your brain sees that the thought has been captured somewhere outside your skull, it relaxes its grip. It no longer needs to keep repeating the thought to make sure you don't forget it. The paper becomes your external memory, and your brain can finally let go. The third strategy is what I call the scheduled worry window. This sounds strange, but it works. Pick a 15-minute window every afternoon, say 4 p.m., and tell yourself that this is the only time you are allowed to worry. When an anxious thought shows up at night, you don't fight it. You say, "I hear you. We'll deal with you tomorrow at 4, and then you redirect your attention. What you're doing is training your brain that nighttime is not the appropriate time to process stress. Over days and weeks, this conditioning genuinely shifts when and how your brain activates anxious thought patterns. Now let's talk about your sleep environment, because so many people overlook this completely. Your bedroom needs to feel like a sanctuary, not an extension of your workday. If you answer emails in bed, scroll social media in bed, eat in bed, or watch intense shows in bed, your brain has no cue that this is a place for rest. Every time you walk into that room, your nervous system should receive the signal. This is where we decompress. This is where we're safe. You create that signal through consistency. Keep your room cool, around 65 to 68 degrees. Fahrenheit is optimal for sleep. Keep it dark. Remove your phone from the bedroom if you can, or at minimum, keep it face down and on silent. These are not small details. They are messages you're sending to your nervous system every single night. Another critical piece of this puzzle is what happens in the 2 hours before bed. This window is make or break for your sleep quality. Bright overhead lights, intense exercise, caffeine, heated arguments, or doom scrolling through news and social media all raise cortisol and suppress melatonin, the hormone that makes you sleepy. Instead, try to dim your lights after 8 p.m. Do something that doesn't require you to perform or be stimulated. Gentle stretching, reading a physical book, taking a warm shower. The drop in body temperature after a warm shower actually mimics the natural cooling process your body goes through as it prepares for sleep, sending a powerful sleep signal to your brain. And here's something almost no one talks about: the story you tell yourself about sleep. If you've struggled with insomnia or overthinking at night for a long time, you may have developed what psychologists call sleep anxiety, a fear of not being able to sleep that itself prevents sleep. You lie down and immediately think, "Here we go again, I'm not going to be able to sleep." And that thought triggers just enough stress response to confirm your fear. The fix here is to stop trying to sleep. Genuinely, your only job when you get into bed is to rest, not to sleep, just to rest. The body heals during relaxed wakefulness too. When you remove the pressure to perform, even the performance of sleeping, your nervous system relaxes and sleep comes naturally. Finally, let's talk about the longer game. You can use every technique in this video perfectly and still struggle if your baseline stress level during the day is chronically high. Sleep is not an isolated event. It is the final chapter of your entire day. So how you handle stress at 2 p.m. directly affects your brain at 2 a.m. Build small recovery windows into your day. Take 5-minute breaks where you step away from screens, breathe, and do nothing. Move your body. Even a 20-minute walk lowers cortisol dramatically. Connect with people who make you feel safe. Eat in a way that stabilizes your blood sugar, because blood sugar crashes create cortisol spikes. Treat your nervous system like a battery that needs recharging throughout the day, not just at night. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Your sleep problem is not a sleep problem. It's a nervous system regulation problem. And the good news is, your nervous system is trainable. With the right inputs, the right environment, and a little patience, you can teach your body and brain to let go at night. You can break the cycle of stress and sleeplessness. You can stop being ambushed by your own thoughts the moment you close your eyes. You deserve rest, deep, real, uninterrupted rest, and it is absolutely within your reach. If this video helped you, share it with someone who lies awake at night staring at the ceiling, because chances are you know someone who needs this. Drop in the comments which technique you're going to try tonight. I read every single one. And if you want more content on managing stress, building better habits, and understanding how your brain actually works, subscribe and stay around. There's a lot more coming. Sleep well. You've got this.